Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 26 of Cameron's Nostalgia Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strickland, and today I have with me the British guy, Dave Thompson.
Hi.
Now, for any of you guys who don't know, Dave was a comedian and actor for Tinky Winky from the Teletubbies.
That's right. It was me in the costume with the red purse, the purple fur, and the triangular aerial.
And he also appeared on 5 films.
Yeah, five feature films. Yeah. Um, Maybe Baby, directed by Ben Elton. I Want Candy, starring Carmen Electra, directed by Steven Surgit. Huge, directed by Ben Miller. Harry Hill, the movie, directed by Harry Hill. And The Munsters, directed by Rob Zombie,
Nice.
and many, many TV programs. Have you heard of The Last Kingdom on Netflix?
No.
Ah, okay. Well, I'm in 2 episodes of that as well. I get my head chopped off.
Let's begin our first question. How did you get interested in acting?
Well, when I was a young boy, my mother was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and when they did the school Christmas play, they gave me the main part. It was a production of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis, a stage adaptation, and they gave me the part of Aslan the lion. And the following year, she was dead, but they did the Pied Piper, and they gave me the role of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. And I suspect that the reason they gave me the leading roles was to keep my mind off the fact that my mother was either dying or had just died. It took 5 years for her to die. And so that was sort of how I got involved, I think, in acting. It's also just something that just naturally I have to do. It's just I'd rather do that than anything else, really. I also can't really do anything else.
And what was your first on-camera debut?
Well, the first TV thing I ever did was a British television production called Firstborn, which starred Charles Dance, and it was filmed on location in the west of England. Um, that was the first television thing I ever did.
All right, moving on to this. You got to work on hardcore as Willem.
Pardon?
Hardcore,
I, what hardcore did you say?
where he played the role of Willem.
Sorry, I didn't quite understand what you said. What was that? I played what?
Willem,
Willem in hardcore.
yes.
Did you get this off IMDb?
IMDb.
Yeah, the Internet Movie Database. Because I can't actually remember doing anything called hardcore or playing a part called William. And I did an interview yesterday similar to this, and the person who was interviewing me had looked at IMDb and someone has put credits on IMDb that I haven't done. So strangely, there are lots of things I have done that aren't on IMDb because I haven't got around to uploading them yet. And there are things which I haven't done which IMDb wrongly says that I've done. So if you got it off IMDb, hardcore, I can't remember ever doing anything called hardcore.
You got you got to be the doctor in the 1989 film Area.
Um, don't think so. Was that an American production or a British production?
British.
Um, area. Oh, actually, no, I played a doctor in Casualty, a British program called Casualty, if that's what you're thinking of, maybe.
You got to be Martin Luckhurst on,
Martin Luckhurst, yeah, I played Martin Luckhurst in the feature film Huge, directed by Ben Miller.
and you got to be Bra Brain number two in the
Yeah,
film,
Harry Hill, the movie. Yeah, that starred Matt Lucas from Little Britain.
and you got to be himself in Down the Back of a Sofa,
Yeah, yeah, that was filmed in Hungary.
and you worked on Red Dwarf as Cowpoke.
No, that's one I didn't work on Red Dwarf. So someone has uploaded that and they have got the wrong Dave Thompson. Someone put that on my entry, but that it's I didn't actually ever appear in Red Dwarf.
All right, so you worked on a children's television show called The Teletubbies, where you
Yeah,
got to play Tinky Winky.
yeah, I did that one. Yeah.
So, what was it like working on The Teletubbies?
Well, it was at the start, it was fantastic fun. The whole program, apart from a few shots in the front titles and the end titles, the whole program was filmed on location in a field on a farm near a place called Stratford-on-Avon, which is where Shakespeare was born in England. And the company, we went there right at the very beginning, and we just saw this big hole with a big, no, big digger thing digging this great big hole. And they said, this is going to be Teletubby Land." And sure enough, they built the Teletubby home hill and everything, and the whole of Teletubby Land there. And then after they stopped making the program, the farmer who owned the farm got so fed up with people going on his land to try to find the Teletubby location that they actually destroyed it and filled the hole in. In fact, maybe they didn't fill the hole in. I think maybe now it's a little lake or pond or something.
Do you have a favorite episode?
I like the one when Tinky Winky found things and put them in his bag. So he put Poe's scooter in his bag and Lala's ball and Dips's hat. And when we filmed it, the close-up shots, they gave me an extra special big pair of paws and a giant, great big prop bag that was much bigger than the normal bag, so that those things would fit in it. And that was quite good fun.
Delia Packing.
Pardon?
Delia Packing.
Delia packing?
Yes.
Is that a person?
It was about a little girl.
Oh, right. Is that an episode of Teletubbies?
Yes.
Oh, I can't remember that one. There were a lot, and it was quite a long time ago.
I remember that segment.
Right. Well, you probably saw it more recently than I did. I might never have watched it at all.
I used to watch the Teletubbies when I was little.
Hmm. Yeah, most people do. Most people watch it when they're little. Some people watch it when they're grown-ups.
What was it like working on Harry Hill?
Well, I've done lots and lots of work for Harry Hill. I've done he had a big TV show, which was a big prime time Saturday evening TV show on the main channel in the UK called Harry Hill's TV Burp, and it ran for many years. And I was in that. I was even a writer, I forgot what they call it now, commissioned writer on the first series. And I also did his live tours as well. So he does these big tours of theatres, and he's used me as a stooge in his big shows, which usually involves me attacking him and us having a stage fight. He's a massive star in the UK, but I don't think he's that big in other countries.
And what about Screech Owls?
Screech Owls. Is that the name of a production?
Yes.
Was it a TV production or a film production?
TV production.
Right, I can't remember that. So either it wasn't me or I can't remember. There's so many things I've done that a lot of things I've just forgotten about, and I don't ever watch the things I'm in normally because I'm normally too busy.
You have worked on Time Gentlemen Please.
Yeah, that was a sitcom written by and starring Al Murray, who's another British TV star who I think he's quite famous in Australia and New Zealand, but I don't think he's famous in America, but or Canada. But I was in two. He did two series of the sitcom, and I was in 9 episodes, and that was great fun. That was all filmed in the studios in London.
You got to work on TV Burp.
Yeah, that was the Harry Hill production. I was in the pilots that they made, and I was also in a lot of them. I think probably every series, at least one episode of every series. It was a very popular TV show, and he could have kept doing it, but he decided to stop doing it because he got bored making it.
You got to work on the 2005 show called
Pardon?
Blessed.
What was that?
It was Blessed.
Blessed. Yeah, that's right. That was another sitcom, and that was written by a guy called Ben Elton, who you might have heard of because have you ever heard of Blackadder, the sitcom Blackadder? And he was a co-writer of Blackadder, and he also wrote another sitcom which became popular on in America and Canada called The Young Ones. And I was in one episode of his sitcom Blessed.
Moving on from acting, you got to be the writer in the sketch show.
Yeah, that was Kelsey. I think they in America it was called Kelsey Grammer Presents the Sketch Show, and it was a TV show which they made in the UK, which was all comedy sketches, and then they sold it to America. And in America, I think they reshot all the sketches using American actors and actresses. And then Kelsey Grammer presented the show. And then they also sold it to Australia, with the British actors and actresses in it. And they sold it to Germany. And in Germany, I think they made it with their own actors and actresses. and obviously in German. And I actually recently got another payment for that, which was nice. I got a big payment for my royalties for having written on that show.
You know, I heard a poem from A Midsummer Night's Dream called um it was William Shakespeare.
Yeah, William Shakespeare. He lived very near the Teletubbies location, but over 400 years earlier.
And I know a poem. I know a bank where the wild thyme blows, where oxlips and the nodding violet grows. Quiet over canopy with luscious lipine, with sweet musk roses and eglantine. There sleeps Titania some time of the night. Lo, do these flowers lift dances and delight.
Nice. That's beautiful. Do you know that off by heart?
Well,
Very nice poem.
yes.
That's amazing. William Shakespeare was born on St. George's Day and he died on St. George's Day. And there's a lot of mystery about him. They say that he used for him the pen. His name was Will I Am Shake Spear, and they say his spear was the pen, and that he wielded the pen but like a spear against ignorance. So against the dragon, St. George killed the dragon in the myth, in the legend. And they say that Shakespeare wielded the pen like a spear, killing the dragon of ignorance with his amazing writing.
And Shakespeare was barred.
A bard, yeah, that's an old English word for poet. He was also an actor before he was a writer. I think he stopped acting after a while, but he was an actor originally, and then he carried on writing. I used to live in Stratford-on-Avon, and I often the house I lived in was just not very far from Anne Hathaway's cottage, which is where his wife lived before they met and got married. Still is still there. It's an old thatched cottage, very beautiful old cottage, and that was in the same road that I used to live in Stratford-on-Avon.
And do you have any behind the scenes footage or photos of the Teletubbies?
Well, funny you should ask that because when we were making it, they used to give us what they call rushes, which are the first footage of the day's shoot. It's called rushes because in the days when they had to develop film with chemicals, they were the ones that they rushed through the developers so that the people could look, like the director and the actors could look at what they'd filmed and see how it looked. And we used to be given rushes tapes, which at that time were VHS cassette tapes of the video that they'd filmed, just so we could watch it and study how we looked, because this was before it was ever transmitted. And when the end of the first season of filming, I actually took a box of Rush's video cassettes, which has got the real sound on the location. And I've got them somewhere, but I don't know where they are. I think they're somewhere in my attic. And at various times, people say to me, "I'll pay you money for those cassettes," and I'm too busy to ever get around to going up in the attic and looking for them. But somewhere they're in the attic. But I don't think they'll be very good resolution because it was only VHS tapes in the 1990s.
Do you have a Tinky Winky suit?
No, the Tinky Winky suit cost at the time, the Teletubbies costumes cost £30,000 each, which is probably about 40,000 US dollars. I don't know what it is in Canadian dollars. And when they remade the show, years later with new actors, they used the same costumes. So we didn't get to keep the costumes. And I later on, after that job, I actually did a job for Jim Henson for Hallmark Entertainment wearing a lion costume. And the lion costume cost £120,000, which is probably about 140,000 US dollars. I didn't get to keep that one either.
Nice. Well, Dave, thanks so much for your time.
That's okay. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you for asking me to be on your podcast.
Oh, I forgot to say, you have been, you got to play Naughty the Clown.
Naughty the Clown. Yeah, yeah. That's something which I have done as my own thing. I do stand-up comedy. I'm a stand-up comedian, and that's how I work most of the time in between acting jobs. I'm constantly traveling all over the world performing as a stand-up comedian. And what I call my research and development area is a character I do called Naughty the Clown. And it's I've studied the clown. I've studied under the French master clown Philippe Gaulier, and Naughty the Clown is actually being a pure clown, which is quite difficult to do because a pure clown would never make it to the theatre because they would get on the wrong bus and go somewhere else by mistake. So it's quite a challenge, but it's actually doing my best to be as pure and true as possible a clown. So it's not very commercial. I used to get employed most of all by an artist who'd use it as to do. I'd do Naughty the Clown as a performance artist in art galleries as part of his arts installations or for filming as well. He'd make little films which he'd then show in art galleries in various places. So that was the Naughty the Clown.
When I was at the fair, I had cotton candy.
Yeah, well, cotton candy. That's very nice. Lots of sugar. I hope you cleaned your teeth afterwards. Very sugary, but very bad for your teeth.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, thank you very much, Cameron, for inviting me on your podcast. And please send me the link. I'd love to watch it and maybe watch other episodes as well. And I hope that you have a very good time in Newfoundland. Where is it again? Which cove you live in?
Frenchman's Cove.
Frenchman's Cove. Okay, well, I'm going to look that up on Google Maps at the end of this interview because I'm intrigued to know. I love places by the sea and fishermen's coves and fishermen, no, fishing villages and things. And my house, actually, that I'm in now, is near the sea, and you can see the sea from every room in the house, either straight on or slightly slanting. There aren't actually any windows in the northern side of the house, so that's why it might sound odd that you can see the sea from every window in the house, but there are no windows on the northern side of the house. But on the eastern, the western, and the southern sides of the house, you can see the sea. And I love living by the sea, so I'm going to check out Frenchman's Cove when we finished doing this podcast.
Well, do you voice Tinky Winky?
No, they had another guy, an American actor, doing the voice for Tinky Winky, but it was me in the costume.
Oh, alright. Stay tuned, there'll be more guests coming up. Until next time, peace.
Peace.